Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Mike Lugo. I'm with the technical support team here at Bolide. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Today, we'll be going over our full color and active deterrent cameras. I'm going to take you through a full setup on how it works and a couple different scenarios that we might go through with this camera. Quick background on Bolide. We are a CCTV surveillance and accessory company. Been around for about 30 years. We have offices all over the world, including Barcelona, Dubai, El Salvador, Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, and of course, our headquarters here in San Dimas, California. Again, what we'll be going over today is our full color and active deterrent, start to finish, full setup. We're going to go over everything that the camera does and a couple of different scenarios, like I mentioned, that we might go through. Really quick, so our active deterrent camera, some of the model numbers that we have are BN1009 PTZ 4K, NDAA, this is a PTZ, full active deterrent. We have a BN8029, which is a varifocal turret, BN8019, which is a fixed lens turret. We have our panoramics, our BN9135, which is a panoramic bullet, BN9109, which is a panoramic turret, and then we also have a BN9109, which is a panoramic turret with dual lens. And then on our full color side, we have a BN8019FC, a BN8019FC black, and a BN8035F NDAA. Those ones have the lights on them. So what do we get with active deterrent cameras? Of course, we get the red and blue lights, get a built-in microphone, a built-in speaker, the full color at night option, voice prompt option, a siren, and a SD card slot if you wanted to use the camera as a standalone unit. So just a quick explanation of some of the terms I'm going to go through and what the camera can do and how we can use them in conjunction with each other. So full color at night, what does this mean? Full color at night means that we're not using IRs at night. We're using spotlight type lights on the camera. It's going to keep the full color in the image. We're not going to go into night mode and be using IRs. We'll be using white lights at night, right? Second thing we can do with these cameras is just use the red and blue lights. You'll see there in the image, we'll have flashing red and blue lights, which is the true active deterrent. We can also use the red and blue lights with siren or audio on the camera. And of course, we can use it with active deterrent with any of our AI functions. So let's jump into it. I'm going to go ahead and go into my recorder here. This is my actual recorder. So I'm going to pick up right after the camera is mounted, plugged into the network, and we are going to add it. I'm going to take you to the full setup process. Now, if you have the camera plugged directly into the recorder, you can skip this step, but I'm going to take this step. If you have it plugged into the network, we're going to go ahead and take it from there, right? So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use my search tool to find the camera that I'm looking for, right? It's plugged into my network. I'm going to search my network, and the camera I'm looking for is right here, my BN9135PN. I know the IP address, so I'm going to go ahead and log into my recorder and find this camera on the network. So go to my setup screen, channel section, and I'm going to search for this camera. I do have one already on there, but I want to show you, for the sake of this webinar, I want to show you how to add it. And like I said, we're going to take you through the full process. I'm going to go ahead and search my network. I already know what the IP address is. I'm going to look for that camera on my list here. There it is. I'm going to highlight it, add my password. It's always admin by default. Add, go ahead and cancel. And I'm gonna wait for this camera to go live. I can go ahead and click it there. There's my view. Camera is live. Awesome. So first thing we want to do, now the camera's installed, it's mounted, it's added to our NVR. Let's go ahead and start to configure this. First thing we want to do is go to image control. Why? Is because by default, active deterrent cameras are set to full color mode. Like I explained earlier, full color mode is going to keep the white lights on at night. So we want to be able to use all the functions. If we have the white light on at night, it doesn't allow us to, well, it kind of drowns out the red and blue lights when you have the white lights on and together with the white light. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn this off and set it to day-night mode. Now that that's done, I can back out and I'm going to go to alarm, right? So really quick, let me go back really quick. You'll notice that I'm able to select light, which is the white light. If I go back to my image control and I have this set to full color and I go to my alarm, you'll notice that the light is grayed out. That's because I have it in full color mode, and that's why I went and turned it off initially. So let me go back and just turn it off again, just to show you guys. We're going to change it to day-night mode. Okay. Back to my alarm setting, back to my deterrence options, and you'll notice now that I can turn on that white light. First thing I want to do is go to setup, right? And inside setup, I can enable or disable the functions that I want to use, right? So you'll notice that my regular light is already disabled because I want to use my red and blue light, and that's enabled. Once that's done, you'll notice here on my list here, only my warning light is enabled. I can turn them both on, but like I said, when you do have them both on, the white light kind of drowns out the red and blue. So that part being done, I can also set here the duration that I want the lights to be flashing or be on. Next thing we want to do is go to schedule. And inside my schedule, you'll see that I have many AI functions and my motion functions. This is what I want to turn on to be able to use these lights. Motion, if I'm going to use motion, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on and enable my whole schedule. Now, pro tip, I've done this a million times. I do recommend just go on and turn them all on. If you're not using the function, you don't got to worry about it, but it'll save you time later, and it's going to be a lot easier troubleshooting if you go back and figure out why ain't my lights flashing, why isn't this working. If it's on, you don't have to go back and keep going to the deterrent section and turning these options on. So just turn them on now. You'll notice my pedestrian's on, perimeter intrusion is on, line crossing. I'm going to go through these three scenarios for time's sake. So we're going through all of them. The setup process is pretty much the same, but I do want to show you how it works in a real life scenario. So first thing we want to do, get our schedule tuned in. Some customers don't want it 24/7. They only want it at night. You can go ahead and, adjust that need be. I'm going to save it, and then I can cancel out of there. Now, once my deterrence is set up, I'm going to go ahead and go to siren. Now, you want to set up all your deterrents first. That way you're not bouncing back between your AI and your functions, and just turn it all on, do one thing at a time, and it's less confusing that way. So if I want to use the siren in conjunction with my deterrents, I'm going to go to my siren section. Siren is really easy to use. Same process. I'm going to turn it on, go to my schedule, go to the AI function or the alarm setting that I want to use. In this case, I want to use pedestrian and vehicle first. It's probably the most popular. It does work with motion. Motion, you get a lot of false positives. Pedestrian and vehicle AI is probably one of the most popular AIs that we use here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on first. I'm going to go ahead and save it, make sure that it's on, and we are going to cancel out. Now, there's a couple different alarm sounds that we can have come out of the camera. 2 of them are built in, and then we can also add 3 separate personal sounds. And these are going to be WAV files or MP3 files that we can import from a USB that we download, and we can load this into the camera or the GUI itself. So that being said, next option is volume control. Of course, you want to maximize that volume, make it loud. It is a deterrent camera, so you want to make sure that you're broadcasting the loudest you can. And then, of course, siren duration. Now, that part's done. And the last thing I do want to go through is voice prompts, right? We want to take care of these 3 deterrent options before we start to configure our AI functions, right? So voice prompts, cool feature. Other than siren, you can also use the voice prompt to have your own siren put in. Maybe you want to use a voice prompt. I have a couple here that I have set up. It's really easy to do. I can import from a file, very similar to the siren function. I can import a file in here. I've done it before because I don't have a USB, and I do have a couple in here. Or I can use text to speech, and I can go ahead and let's put here, I'll just put webinar as a title. Oops, it's okay. And then I can have this say whatever I want, right? And we're going to have it say, welcome to our webinar. And I'm going to import that, import successful. Now, I can go back and have my camera speak this. So I'm going to sit that there. Welcome to our webinar. Not sure if you guys are able to hear that, but it did read out what I typed out. Or I can also use the file that I loaded. And that's a siren that I loaded earlier. So I can have the sirens that come out of the camera, or I can load my own, or I can have a voice come out of the camera itself, right? So go ahead and exit that. So now we got that part set up. We have our voice prompt set up. We have our deterrent enabled, and we have our siren enabled. Now, how do we make this work with our cameras, right? So I'm going to go over to AI. And the first one we're going to do is pedestrian and vehicle, right? So I always recommend the switch mode means that the option is turned on. We want to turn this on and always apply it first. Because if not, sometimes you forget, you go back, why isn't my AI working? Because we forgot to hit apply. So I always do that before I even hit the setup. I'll hit apply, make sure my switch is on, successfully done. Now I can go into my setup. This one's very easy. Pedestrian vehicle, there's not much to set up here. I'm going to go ahead and save it. I'm going to go out and I'm going to go to my live view, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to walk out there, and you're going to see my lights go off. So give me a sec. Okay, great. So you guys should be able to see that those lights going off as soon as it's seen me. Pretty simple, real easy to do. Yeah, let's try another one. So that was pretty easy. That one's really simple. Let's try something a little more, not difficult, but takes another further step, right? So I'm going to go back into my detection area. Now, instead of just doing human vehicle, go ahead and turn that option off. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do perimeter intrusion. See how that works. Again, turn your switch on, apply. And once it is on, successful, I can go ahead and do my setup. So this one's going to take it one step further, right? It's not just turn it on. This one we have to actually create a perimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I just draw it with my mouse. There it is. And then we also have the option in perimeter intrusion to just do pedestrians, motor vehicles, or non-motorized vehicles, meaning bikes. And I can also set multiple perimeters, right? Up to 4. I'm going to leave 1 for now. And you always want to make sure when you are using this function that you enable the rule. By default, it's off. Turn that on. And then the rule type. You notice there's an A, B. So A to B, meaning outside to in. B to A, meaning inside to out. Or you can do both, A and B. So I'm going to do both for sake of the webinar. Go ahead and save that. And I'm going to check this function and see if it goes off when I enter the perimeter. Awesome. So you see how easy that is. Pretty simple stuff. Now, I do want to show you the difference between the red and blue light and the white light. So I did add my second camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. I already have my perimeter intrusion set up. I'm going to go back into my deterrents. And I'm going to set up my second camera. But with my second camera, I'm going to do the white light. So I'm going to enable that. Again, apply. Go to my schedule. And I'm doing this one. I'm going to set up pedestrian vehicle. I set that up initially, make sure, like I mentioned, once I have everything on, I don't have to keep going back into this. But for the sake of the webinar, just want to show you guys how to get there. I'm going to save that. Nothing's changed. I'm going to cancel. So now I have one camera doing my red and blue lights, one camera doing my white lights, right? Make sure that's applied. Let me go back to my AI functions, and I am going to do pedestrian vehicle. Make sure that my camera is on. Channel 3 is my other camera. Again, hit the switch, apply. Wait for my settings to go in. There it is. And set up. Again, set is not too much to set up with your pedestrian vehicle. Quick note, you do want to make sure that your minimum and maximum pixels are set correctly. I'm just going to maximize this and minimize this. Save that there. And I am going to, again, walk through. You should see my white light and my red and blue light go off this time. Give me a second. All right, good stuff. You probably can't hear my siren going off. My siren is also going off in the background because I did set that up as well. But you can see the two difference in the lights and how they work. So let's come back here. Now, let's say that I want to use the voice prompt that I set up earlier also come out of the camera when I am using my lights. That's a different step. So what you need to do in order to enable that, I got it set up. Now I want to add it to the camera. We need to go to the alarm section in AI, right? And you'll notice in the alarm section, I have a bunch of all my AI functions. I'm going to go to people pedestrian. And if I scroll to the right, there is a voice prompt option. If I select that, I can select what camera I want and then the voice prompt file that I loaded. So this, I will load my siren. I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And now, not only will my sirens go off and my lights go off, I'll also have my voice prompt come off. You probably won't be able to hear it because it's in the other room, but that's how you enable that. And the fact that I went and set up my voice prompts first, I don't have to go back and set it up now because I already have everything set up prior. It's just you want to set up all your deterrents first, and that way when you enable your functions, it's really easy to go back and just enable them, right? Pretty simple stuff. I do want to go over a couple other things, right? Just once you get your camera installed, sometimes you're not going to use the recorder. Sometimes you're using the camera as a standalone, right? So in that case, what you're going to do is log into the camera itself, right? So let me come back over here. And again, I am going to search my network. Close out of here. Now, I'm going to do, this is if we're using the camera as a standalone now, right? Got it set up in the NVR. That's one way to do it. We're done. We see how all the functions work. A lot of times these cameras, since they are active deterrent and they do have an SD card built in, we can put the SD card in, have it record straight to the camera. And how do we set up these functions on the camera itself without an NVR, right? So again, I'm going to go ahead and search my network. And here are my two cameras, right? I am going to select one of my cameras. It's going to take me to the GUI. Admin and admin is always the default to our cameras. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. There's our camera. And then we're going to go directly to remote setting. Now, little different. It's the same, but things are in a little different area. So that's why I did want to go over the actual camera GUI. First thing, again, you always want to make sure that under image control, we're set to day-night mode. Second thing we want to go to is event setup. So on the recorder, it was under deterrence. That had its own option. In the camera GUI itself, it's going to be under event setup. And under event setup, you'll notice there is a deterrent option or deterrence, right? And again, from this point on, everything is similar to what the NVR was. There's my light switch, meaning white light, warning light, meaning my red and blue light. Once that is on, same thing with the siren, turn it on. You notice there's not a schedule in this section. There was in the NVR. Like I said, it's a little different in the camera. So once we turn our deterrent on and our siren on, we want to go to AI alarm. And under AI alarm, you'll notice I have a light switch, warning light switch, and a siren switch. You want to make sure these are on with the corresponding AI function that you're using, right? For each one will have its own. Go ahead and turn those on. And here is where you'll find the schedule. It wasn't in the deterrence like it is in the NVR, so keep that in mind. This one is located inside the AI alarm section. And then if I go to schedule, you'll see here, I can just select the bubble that I want for light, siren, or warning lights, and then go ahead and set my schedule. Excuse me. Hit OK, and I'm ready to go. Very simple, but it is a little different, right? Okay, so now we got it done in the recorder itself. We got it done in the camera itself. And just really quick, I do want to touch on the VMS, right? It's going to be very similar to the recorder, but let's just go over it because we do get a lot of calls. And it looks a little different in the VMS, just so you're familiar with how to turn these functions on and off and where to find things. So I'm going to go to my VMS. There's my NVR, right? There's two ways to get into the NVR GUI. I can right-click over main view and go to remote configuration, or I can go to my device management, and in the operations column, there's a remote parameters here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And again, very similar to the NVR itself. Things just look slightly different. Again, here's our deterrent section. Very similar to the NVR. Slightly different though. You know, if you remember on the NVR, it was just a straight column. This is a little different. Very similar to the camera itself. Again, I can hit my switch, but different from the camera, in the NVR's GUI, I can set the schedule from the deterrence tab. So keep that in mind. Again, light schedule, turn my schedule on like we did originally inside the NVR itself. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it before. If you guys have any questions, feel free to just type them in and I'll get to them as they come in. That pretty much does that part of it. There's one more thing I do want to show you guys before I do start to answer some of these questions. And that is you can turn these functions on from the phone. So let me come back here. You'll notice here's our Quick Connect app. Very easy to turn this on from the phone and set it up from the phone as well. All we do is navigate to the icon of the man on the top left corner of the app. Go ahead and select that. From there, we can go to remote settings. At the remote settings, we will select the NVR or the recorder that we are working with. And then we're going to go down to the alarm function. I'm going to go ahead and select alarm. You'll notice there's a deterrence tab. Go to deterrence, and you'll see the same options that we've seen in the camera and the NVR themselves. Simple switch. Go ahead and select the switch. And then once that's on, we can go ahead and set the schedule up. And I'm going to select schedule. And just really quick, Oops, yeah, I went back. Give me a second. We're going to select alarm, deterrence, and then select our schedule. And once our schedule is set, we're ready to go. And it's going to be the same thing for warning light, same options. And also, if we go back and select siren, same options as well. Turn it on, go to our siren schedule, set it up, and we are done, right? Of course, you can scroll across the top and get all the different AI functions across the top. That pretty much does it, guys. I hope this is very informative for you guys. I do have some questions here that I see on my panel. I'm going to get to them. Again, if you guys have any questions, I'm going to keep it open for next couple minutes. Let's try to get some of these questions answered if you guys have any. I do see one here. Can I use this with face recognition? Yes, you can. Good question. The camera that I added on our live view does not have it, but I do have a face recognition camera on. Let me show you really quick. I'm going to go back to my search tab. I'm going to search, and I'm going to look for an AD camera because that has more functions, and I have a BN8019 AD. I'm going to select that. I'm going to log into it. Admin. Oops. Admin. Log in. My remote settings, and let me come to my setup face detection. Of course, you're going to make sure the face detection is on. I don't have faces yet in this database, so I can't show you the faces in the database, but let me show you how to use this function. Go to my face detection, and then remember, inside the camera, it's under alarm. Go to alarm, and there's my face detection, and I can set my light, warning light, and siren inside my face detection option. Schedule, make sure my schedule is set, and I'm done, right? And it's going to be the same for license plate recognition as well. And again, any of these AI functions all have the option for light, warning light, and siren, right? So again, very easy to do. It's a couple clicks and we're ready to go. I do have some more questions here. How many AI features can I use with the spotlight or with the AD? So you can use all of them. Yeah, any of these functions that have an AD and have all these alarm triggers on them, you can use them in conjunction with them. I do have another one here. Can I use two-way audio to talk to a person in front of the camera? What if the alarm is going off at the same time? Good question. So if the alarm is going off at the same time, you're not going to be able to use the voice at the same time because you can only use one at a time. But you can use, of course, the two-way audio from the camera, from your phone. The siren will drown out the voice. It will not allow you to use both. Of course, that's just the way it is. The siren is way too loud for the voice to come through. So you can only use one at a time, but you can use them you could use them together, just not at the same exact time. Hope that answered your question. Can I use the white light and the red and blue light at the same time? You can. Like I mentioned in the beginning, you can, but the white light's pretty bright and it kind of drowns out the red and blue light. So you can use them together. But I do recommend using one or the other. If you're going to use the red and blue light, I do recommend turning the white light off. Yeah. I see another question here. What are some of the ways that I can use my own voice so I can load into the voice prompt? Good question. Again, let me come back into my NVR and show you how that is done. You do have to have a file created. You can create a WAV file or an MP3 file. You can do it from your phone or do it from your recorder. I'm sorry, do it from your computer and add it to the recorder. Let me go back to the recorder, just show you how to do that really quick. Actually, I'm going to show you from the VMS. The VMS is a lot easier because when you're using the VMS, you can use your computer straight. If you're using it at the recorder, you do have to load that file to a thumb drive and put it into the recorder. But if you're using the VMS, let's go back there really quick. Back to my VMS. If I'm using the VMS and I go to my voice prompt and I go to my file import, I can import a file directly from my computer. And I actually have some here that I downloaded yesterday. Yeah, I can load it directly from the computer. It's a lot easier to do. How do I use my iPhone to record a wave? So that's going to be, you would need a program to do that. If you're going to use your iPhone, yeah, it would be, you need something to record your voice. If you're going to use your iPhone, something that can record a wave file. Yeah, you can do like a video note, voice note on your iPhone, and save that, and then just convert it to a wave file from the phone itself. So yeah. Do you know what application? The application you would use on the iPhone, you could probably use the voice memo and just save that, and then you can use a different application. There's many applications you can use on the computer. I don't have one off top of my head to use, but yeah, you can do it from the phone and just convert it to a WAV file or MP3. Another question. Can I make this camera activate other cameras to start recording? Yeah, you can. Let me show you how to do that. So come back here and we come back in my VMS. So under alarm, under my alarm settings here, let's go to vehicle pedestrian. So under vehicle pedestrian, you'll notice there's a channel record here, right? Channel 1, if I want to have my alarm trigger and record off channel 1 as well as channel 3, all I have to do on my alarm setting is select the other channel that I want to record as well. And I can have them all record, but normally we'll do like 1 or 2 extra cameras. The areas you would use this is like, say, have a camera in the front. It has active deterrent. Deterrent goes off, and I want to make sure that my back camera records at the same time. I can just go ahead and select that there, save it. Now I'm recording channel 1 and channel 3. Channel 1 will cause channel 3 to record as well. I hope that answered your question. And again, any other questions we have, I want to leave it open for another couple minutes to get these questions in. Do you have another question? Can I use, if I am using this with face recognition, can I have the camera's active deterrent only go off with people on the block list? Yes, you can. Again, we'll just set up, oops, happened to my screen there. Once you set up the face recognition, I'm gonna allow list on my block list, set my schedule up under my alarm, under my alarm block list here, and I go to alarm, I can set it up through here. And I can also set my voice prompts as well, right? So just for the block list. So if we don't have any more questions, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope this was very informative. And I hope I answered all the questions you have. Again, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us, reach out to your rep. You can always reach out to me. Mike Lugo at bolideco.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you guys for joining us. This will be uploaded to YouTube later on today. So if you guys want to go back and reference this, you're welcome to do so and share it with your team. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and look forward to having our next webinar with you guys. Thank you.